Right, so here's today's viewer question. They're saying, I'm launching a new luxury business. How do I brand myself so people see me as luxury and not just someone charging more?
I mean, is that not like the eternal question?
Yeah, it is.
You know, everyone seems to think that they can just print a logo and then in gold maybe, and then that's it, job done, you're luxury.
Yeah, totally, it's delusional. People forget, that Fortnum's didn't become Fortnum's because someone said, let's make shopping bags shiny. It became Fortnum's because if you bought a toaster there, it was wrapped up and carried to your car as if you just bought the crown jewels, right?
Yeah, oh my God. Toasters and tiaras,
yeah,
basically.
Precisely that. And that's the point, though, isn't it? It's behaviour, not decoration. I think the mistake that most new businesses make is assuming that luxury lives in the packaging. It doesn't. I mean, packaging is important, absolutely, for sure. But it lives in the tiny, I suppose, consistencies that add up to an atmosphere, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Because, like, as a consumer, that's exactly it. So I don't sit there thinking, yes, atmosphere, carefully curated. I just know whether I feel either a bit special or a bit awkward. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And this is it, isn't it? That, you've got this idea that the feeling of awkwardness is usually because someone in the chain broke character, because luxury in it's theatre, isn't it? If one actor forgets their line, then the spell is broken. I mean, you can have Puccini on the website, but if your invoice turns up in Comic Sans, then you're just Greggs with delusions of grandeur.
Oh my God. Don't drag Greggs into this again. Oh my God, you've been on Greggs for years. It's crazy.
Because Greggs is perfect. Greggs is consistent. It doesn't try to be anything that it isn't. Imagine if Greggs suddenly started putting sausage rolls into, expensive bags with ribbons. It would be absurd. But this is the thing that happens in luxury, though. New luxury brands do the complete reverse all the time. They sell you a £3,000 ring or watch or whatever it is, and then they send you an invoice from a Gmail account.
Oh, I've actually seen that. And I thought, if you can't afford a proper email domain or someone to show you even how to do it, then maybe you shouldn't be charging me four figures.
But this is exactly it, and I suppose that would be the first bit of advice that I'd give, that branding, it's not about the frosting, it's actually the plumbing,
Yeah,
it's
sure.
the things that nobody notices, like email addresses or invoices or hold music.
Oh my God.
These are the things that people notice.
I mean, you hold music, right? You do have a massive thing about hold music, don't you?
Yeah, because it matters, You can't you can't say you're crafting timeless object art and then, put me on hold with tinny Ed Sheeran. Luxury is not Ed Sheeran.
Poor Ed Sheeran. I mean, he's doing all right. I mean, yeah, but I get your point. But what then would be luxury hold music?
Silence. Or something ambiguous,
Okay, right.
A string quartet that nobody can place, maybe. Or anything that says, we're not desperate to entertain you while you wait. Just wait.
Oh, that sounds terrifying.
Yeah, that's because it is. But that's also half the fun, isn't it? It's like some achingly luxury boutiques that you walk into and immediately feel the need to prove that you deserve to be there.
Oh my God, I do remember that. The first time I went into a Chanel, so embarrassing, and I apologised to a mannequin.
And yet I bet you probably still bought something.
100%, a lipstick, but only because it was the cheapest thing in the shop. But it did feel a bit like a ticket into the club, But
yeah, precisely this. And that's also a lesson, I suppose, in induction, Don't sell me a product. Don't don't try and force me into it. Induct me into a world. So that lipstick is actually a Trojan horse.
You're making it sound very manipulative.
Of course it's manipulative. Although I like to call it influence, I don't
I know, I was going to say, you don't like the word.
No, I don't.
Normally I get corrected.
Yeah, so it's influence, not manipulation.
Okay, fine.
But so is perfume. Nobody buys Chanel No. 5 because they're desperate to smell of aldehydes. They buy it because, it lets them borrow Marilyn Monroe's ghost.
Oh my God. I mean, that is true. She famously say Chanel No. 5 when I was asked what she wore in bed or something?
Yeah, exactly. Somebody asked her, what
God.
you wear in bed, and she said Chanel No. 5.
Oh, amazing.
That's so
amazing.
Cool.
It's so cool.
But I suppose as well, new brands panic because they don't have that heritage, that Chanel No. 5 heritage. So they invent one. So suddenly you'll hear, new brands saying that their great-grandfather was hand-stitching saddles in 1820. No, he wasn't. He was flogging car parts in Croydon. Maybe not in 1820, but he was flogging something in Croydon. Stop it. It's stupid.
It is stupid. The thing, and the worst bit about it in this day and age is Google ruins that story in 5 minutes, seconds. I mean, it's so easy.
Well, I mean,
right?
AI probably destroyed it in half a second,
Out.
And
Yeah.
I think the trick isn't invention, it's anchoring. You can anchor yourself to something older than you. Materials, locations, crafts. A whiskey brand can be new and still borrow credibility from a 300-year-old bog.
I mean, yeah, or cashmere goats with better lives than their customers.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Heritage by proxy. But that's what you do when you haven't got your own century of history, and there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, and as a consumer, I don't need to be told you're old. Actually, it's just as exciting when you're new. I just need you to feel like you'll be here in 10 years' time.
Oh, that's very perceptive. Because endurance is the true signal. I suppose it's something that terrifies us as well. Longevity, which is why shortcuts don't work. And the temptation, especially with a lot of new brands, is to buy followers. And rent a Bentley or a Ferrari or whatever for Instagram, and stick luxury in the company name. But I mean, that's costume jewellery branding. It looks shiny, but it bends under pressure.
Yeah, and speaking of names, I've always thought that if you call yourself luxury whatever, you've kind of already lost.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. It's like calling yourself Cool Dave. If you have to say it, you're not, which is ironic, I suppose, coming from someone who owns a company called Luxury Academy.
I mean, a touch. But it is different, isn't it? So, yeah. But so if they're not to use the word luxury, what should they do? What works?
I mean, use something ambiguous, something that doesn't explain itself too quickly. Chanel doesn't mean luxury handbag shop or luxury couture or whatever. It just means Chanel. Let the meaning cement itself over time.
Yeah, okay, but that is a bit scary, though, isn't it? Starting with something that means literally nothing and trusting that people are just going to catch on.
Terrifying? Yes, I suppose so. Which is why so few actually do it. But it's also why it works. Google, Dior, Prada, Miu Miu, Chanel, Gucci, they all started as meaningless words.
True.
That came to mean something over time. I know people are going to say, oh, well, it was their name. Yeah, but their name was meaningless.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think a lot of new brands kind of fall down because the staff don't believe it either. And you can tell, if you go somewhere and someone's trying to sell you a £5,000 sofa or something, and their eyes are basically going, yeah, I wouldn't pay for that either.
Yeah. Price
Yeah.
embarrassment, which is why training is part of the branding, or at least it should be. You're not just training sales techniques. You're teaching people to hold the illusion without flinching. The assistant at Hermes can say with a completely straight face, "We don't have any bags," while literally standing in front of them. That's conviction. That's conviction.
I mean, seriously. And as the consumer, it's weirdly persuasive. If they believe it, I'm going to believe it. right?
Yeah, well, exactly. That's the alchemy, isn't it?
So if I was starting a business, I'd be thinking, this all sounds like, I don't know, a lot of pressure. Is there any one simple thing I should do first, perhaps?
Yeah. Stop thinking of branding as something you absolutely need at the start. You don't. You need money at the start.
Yeah,
You
true.
know, not a
Yeah.
fancy brand. You know, your brand is whatever the client thinks it is. So, yeah, buy the domain name. That's important. You know, pick a
Definitely.
typeface, stick to it, and train your people. And for God's sake, whatever you do, don't discount.
What, never?
No.
Why?
Nothing destroys luxury faster than 40% off, you know. Exclusivity can be fabricated for sure, but once it's revoked, it can never be restored.
So
Don't ever discount.
even if nobody's buying, you just don't discount, you just hold your nerve.
Yeah, especially then. Scarcity is believable when it looks deliberate. If you panic and start slashing prices, you're basically admitting that you've been lying all along.
Oh, that's harsh.
I mean, luxury is hard. That's what makes it luxury.
I mean, you kind of sound like you're describing a slightly abusive relationship there.
Yeah, I mean, many clients would agree, and yet they keep coming back.
Yeah, well, because the story is too seductive, isn't it?
Exactly. And so is the status that it brings.
Right, so the takeaway is don't fake it halfway.
Yeah, exactly. Halfway is fatal. You know, better be honest as Greg's than dishonest as Gucci.
I mean, and now Greg's are going to be calling their lawyers, and maybe they'll send us some sausage rolls. You never know.
Oh, well, they'll send me a chicken and mushroom slice. I don't particularly like their sausage rolls. And they'll tell me to shut up. I know not liking their sausage rolls is complete sacrilege, but I don't particularly like their sausage rolls.
I know, but you'll happily accept the chicken and mushroom
Yeah,
slice.
of course I will. I love a chicken and mushroom slice.
Fair enough.